We have been through 3 events in North America. In this video, I'm just going to go through, rank the top 10 teams in America, talk about the other teams that didn't quite make the cut. I'm going to save LAN predictions and LAN discussions for a different video, just because if I get into that, I'm going to get completely sidetracked and not actually make any sense. At number 10, Shopify Rebellion stays the same. You might have seen Knights or Axel come in here as they both made top 8 this weekend, but I do still trust in the Shopify Rebellion roster. They went 1-3 through the Swiss, but their losses were to Furia, NRG, and Complexity. So still quality losses from them. I still have them at number 10. They're on thin ice. I don't think they need a roster change, but I would not be surprised to see 2Ps get picked up by someone. Number 9, OpTic Gaming, Riddles, AJ Magic Bear. This roster also does not need to change. They were sick last weekend, and I wanted to rank them higher because I think they are better than what they showed, but I can't base it off potential. This roster will be most likely running it back in the winter split, and I'm excited to see what they can do once they are healthy, because I do still think this is a team that can fight for lands. At number 8, NRG, I have them moved down 1. This is Justin, Garrett G. Squishy. There's a lot of talk around this team, and there's a lot of high expectations, and they didn't make major. They fell 2-3 in the Swiss. They lost to Knights in that round 5, which I'm sure doesn't help for a team that is expected to be great, losing to a team that did not make the last regional. I don't think this team needs a roster change. I want to see, and that's an unpopular opinion, I know. I want to see them stick it out one more split with Epic Johnny, and if that doesn't work, then you maybe start considering it. But in terms of teams I wouldn't be surprised to see make a change, that they're pretty high on there. I hope they stick together. I hope they have one more split, because I do think they can still compete for lands if they get a couple good runs and start to clean up some of those other matches. But for now, they are at number 8. At number 7, jumping them is Complexity of AJG, Razebull, and CRR. CRR flew across the pond, tried to make a LAN with these guys, but they still end up in 7th, just like they ended last season, actually. I don't think they're 7th in the rankings. I think NRG is actually higher than them because they made that top 4. But in terms of skill level of the teams, I do put Complexity at number 7. They were able to make that top 8. It was the second time in a row. It's still an upward trend. Obviously, they still only made 5th through 8th this time, just like Regional 2. But after not making the playoffs in Regional 1, it's still, they're not trending downwards, which is a great sign for this Complexity roster. I think they can continue to compete for lands, and I'm excited to see what they can pull off next split. At number 6, you have Furia, Card, Kyle, and Jan. I didn't drop them much. They had a tough run through the Swiss. They fell 2-3, but I do still think this is the 6th best team in North America. I was a little bummed they couldn't make that final bracket, because it would have been very entertaining to fight for land spots. But I think for my own sanity, I'm glad they didn't make it, because that just means my team got to qualify faster. I expect to see this team still performing well and showing up in the winter split. No roster change required here. Obviously, this is a top 4 team in the world, last LAN that we had, and I really hope we can see them again at the next LAN, because they've consistently had really good placings there, and they definitely deserve to be seen on the world stage. Number 5, also no change, G2 Esports. This team had the highest potential of going up. They made top 4 again after missing out on the playoffs last event. They got clapped by GenG in the semifinals, which is kind of unfortunate, but that seemed to be a trend for most teams this regional. I wanted to put them above Spacestation if they made a push, but they obviously didn't, and placements are slightly worse. This team still has plenty of potential, and I'm glad they're representing North America at the LAN, because they still can do a lot of damage. At number 4, you have 4th Station Gaming, or 4th Place Station Gaming, or Semi-Station Gaming. This team has consistently gone to the semifinals and lost every single split this event. This is Daniel, Arsenal, and LJ, and they have all the pieces except on Championship Sunday. They just can't put anything together. That's 3 times now that they've lost 1-4 on Championship Sunday. But aside from that, they've always looked fantastic and always gotten there. So definitely a roster to look out for on LAN. But right now they are pretty steadily in that 4th place spot. They're replacing the phase of last year. Number 3, you have version 1. This is Beast Mode Common Torment. They lost to GenG in the quarterfinals. So another tough draw from them. That's the second time they've lost in quarterfinals this season, but they've only been eliminated by GenG. So just kind of a tough playoff draw for them. Still a fantastic roster. Excited to see them in Rotterdam as well. Number 2, you have FaZe Clan. Its first killer, Sipical and Mist. They made finals again. They got a rematch against GenG, but this time could not quite make it happen. They got clapped by them as well. This is a fantastic roster, but I mean, that obviously leaves GenG as number 1. No change in the top 5. The only change was actually Complexity and NRG switching places. So this regional really just proved that my rankings were kind of darn near accurate last time. This GenG squad is fantastic. They made all 3 finals in their first split in North America. Chronic, obviously a name to look out for now. No one was really taking too much of a chance on him earlier, but you got 2 players flying over from Europe, teaming up with him and dominating this region. They finally had that regional win under their belt, which was the one thing they were missing and the one reason I was hesitant to put them at number 1 last time I did these rankings, but they simply proved that they are just the best team out of North America right now. The rest of the teams, you got Pittsburgh Knights. They were able to make the top 8 this regional as well. They fell to Spacestation in the quarterfinals, but not many people expected them to be in that playoff bracket at all. Definitely a signature win over NRG in that round 5 of Swiss in order to make it to playoffs. Yeah, Dignitas, still a fantastic roster. I'm not entirely sure how well they did this event. I wasn't really paying attention because I had other commitments, but I would look for them coming into the next split. I think they're a fantastic roster. I'm not surprised they haven't made top 8 just because the top 8 of North America is so stacked. But if they don't make one by next split, I would kind of be surprised. This roster definitely still has a lot of potential. 26 Rising, they were able to make the main event or through the qualifiers, and they did pretty well there. So solid spot heading into the winter split. And I don't think it's a roster that would make a change. They're kind of one of those more consistent bubble teams that tends to stick together. So I would be surprised to see a massive change there. You also have Seoul. I think the standout players on there are Stealth and Knight. I know Shea is also on the roster. I was glad they made it through that qualifier to make it into this event. They ended up going 1-3 in the Swiss, and so still a fantastic roster. Just want a bit more consistency out of them heading into winter. Team Axel, a little surprised to see them make top 8, especially with a 3-1 record. They were able to take down OpTic in that round 4 upper. They did it in a sweep. Not many people expected them to make a top 8. And honestly, I really underestimated this team heading into the season. They're the old oxygen duo of Gimmick and Toasty. But I thought once they lost LJ, who seemed to be their best player, and then replaced him with Ajax, I did not think this roster had much potential. I'm happy to be proven wrong, though. Glad to see them in the playoffs. Excited to see where this next split takes them, so long as none of their players get poached. And last but not least, you have Rogue. Rogue, I said last video that you guys shouldn't go 0-3 again, and what did you do? Like, it's unfortunate. Taroko was let go literally like a day before the regional. Corrupted G came in, and so there wasn't too much hope riding on this Rogue roster heading into this regional. Definitely a change going to be made. Taroko is obviously off the roster. I don't think Corrupted G is looking to come back to pro play. He was a temporary stand-in. He didn't look terrible, though, in the series that I watched against Space Station. But I would expect a change from these guys. Hopefully they're able to hang on to Aqua. And I know Evo is off X-Set, and so a lot of fans are theorizing that move as well. So it'd be interesting to see what Rogue comes up with for next split, as they are definitely a team that is going to be making a change. That's it. Those are the Fall Invitational rankings. We have one more event in Europe, and I'll give you those top 10 rankings after that event. And then we're going to talk about the teams that qualified for LAN, because we are heading into December here soon. I know November just started, but once we get to Rotterdam, it's going to be super hype. I'm really excited for the major. We already know who Space Station is playing. They're going to be facing off against Falcons from MENA in the first round, so that's going to be super hype. I'm pumped. I'm glad Space Station made it, and I'm excited to see what North America brings to the table in that LAN. But for now, I'll stop talking because that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.